Oh my God, he's alive. I know, I'm a terrible person. I'm terrible at uploading regularly or even ever. I know it's been forever and a day since I've uploaded a video, so sorry about that. I know you can see from the title of this video, my health got a little crazy for a minute there. And I'll get to that in a second here, but I just want to say I'm sorry. I know I suck. And I feel bad. You guys leave messages all the time, and sometimes I get a chance to, comment on them or like or whatever. Sometimes I just, my brain just isn't there, and I just don't even, either I miss it or I just don't have the energy and time to address it all. My health was pretty gnarly there for a minute, but I'm actually doing a lot better and drinking lots of water and taking care of myself. So I know I suck. Like I said, you should be used to this by now. I'm terrible at uploading videos, but appreciate those who stuck with me. And here I am, finally. It's been like a year and 5 months. I can't believe it's been that long. I know I take months sometimes, but a year and 5 months is way too long to not upload a video. So you're probably wondering, what's been going on the last year and a half since I uploaded a video. I don't remember exactly where I left off with you guys, how I was doing. I know I posted a video about how I was eating healthier and working out and, drinking water and quit drinking soda. That lasted about 7 months total. I don't know where I was when I had posted the video. I think I posted the video right before I ended up stopped doing all that. I was doing really well. I was feeling great. And I think my body just kind of gave out. I was working on trying to intensify my workouts and get better workouts in, and my body just kind of crashed and burned. And then it's taken me up until now. It's probably taken me close to 2 years to get back into a position where I feel like I can start getting light workouts in and taking care of myself again. I was doing fine, but when it comes to any kind of workout and stuff, I just couldn't do it anymore. I also started drinking soda and eating crappy again, and that definitely played a part into it. But I think my body just gave out for months of just kind of doing too much. Exercise took a toll on me after a while. My body couldn't hang with it anymore. When I do too much, I just get exhausted, and after months of 3 or 4 workouts a week, plus walking a couple miles 2 or 3 times a week, and my body just kind of gave out with that. But I'm looking to start getting back to doing that. I'm drinking a lot of water. I've cut down on soda, and I haven't drank any soda in a while, so I'm working on getting my diet fixed. I know it's going to take me a minute or two mentally just to kind of wrap my head around it and be okay with making that adjustment, because part of me still doesn't really want to, but the rest of me does. Alright, well, to the point of this video, as you see in the title, I got hella sick. It was hardcore. First of all, just stay till the end. I got some really exciting news, or some really good news I'm really excited about. I honestly, I can't wait. If you've been around for a while, maybe you can guess, but oh, I'm so excited. You'll be happy for me. But anyways, back to this title. Like I said, my health was bad. I spent, within a 4-week period, I had 3 hospital stays of 5 to 7 days each. I would spend a week in the hospital, be out for a couple days, spend 5 days in the hospital, be out for a couple days. And it was hardcore. I don't know how close I was to dying, but it was worse than anything has been before for me. My health has gotten really bad and pretty scary at times, but it had never been that bad. This time it was hardcore, and honestly I didn't know if I was going to live through it or not. So to start off, the first hospital visit, I think I was in there for 5 days, maybe 6, not liver related. I had my leg was all swollen and it was feeling infected or whatever. I gone in there because it got to the point where I couldn't even walk on it, and it was just hurting and hurting. I put it off for a couple of days because it had happened and went away, and then came back. And that time it came back, it was way severe. I couldn't even walk on my leg. And so I went to the hospital, and they took some x-rays and, you know, all their machines and crap, and trying to figure out what was going on. Basically, I had a blood clot, had gotten infected, and they had to have me on a antibiotic drip or whatever. So about 3 or 4 days just staying in the hospital on an IV antibiotic so they could get that whole infection down, so then they could finally drain it. So after like 3 or 4 days of being on a drip, they're finally able to go in there and suck all the gunk out of there and whatnot. So eventually they took care of all that and they let me out of there. Oh, not to mention when they went in and like sucked all the gunk out of my leg, apparently there was a, you know, they numbed it up first, right, with a little Novocaine and all that stuff, so you don't feel anything. But apparently there was like a little divot in my leg, so then that little thin tube that they stuck in there actually kind of went like into the divot or whatever and over it. And I didn't know why. I'm like, I was in so much pain. It hurt so bad when they were sucking all that crap out of there. I didn't know why. I could feel it. It wasn't until later that I realized there was a divot there, and they're looking at me weird, like, you shouldn't be able to feel any of this. But it hurt, man. It hurt so bad. I could feel that little tube in there. Like, I mean, it was super thin. It was tiny. But I could just feel it on the inside of my leg, and I could feel all the gunk just being sucked out of my leg. And that's because there was a little divot in my leg or whatever that the Novocaine hadn't hit. So even though they numbed it all up, I felt all of that and just pulling all that pus and infection out of my leg. I felt every single little bit of it, and it hurt. It hurt really bad. But anyways, I got out of the hospital, and I don't know, it must have been 2 or 3 days later I wake up, and I'm feeling super sick. Like, I'm feeling really, really sick. Eventually I go up to the bathroom, and I throw up a whole mess of blood. Like I filled that toilet bowl up with blood. I've thrown up blood in the past before. I've thrown up a lot of blood in the past before. And again, I threw up a ton of blood. And had my neighbors were sitting outside, and I was talking to them. I was just hanging out, and I was like, you know what? I gotta go to the hospital. I just threw up a bunch of blood. My neighbor offered to give me a ride. I'm like, no, I'll just call an ambulance. That way I just get right in there, and they help me out right away. And it's very good that I took the ambulance there, because when I'm in the ambulance, he's giving me a little IV, or, you know, giving me an IV of some fluids. And I'm like, oh, I'm starting to feel sick again. So I asked him for something to throw up in, because I knew I was going to throw up some more blood. And next thing I know, I start throwing up. And then the next thing I know, I'm laying down and I'm waking up. Like, actually waking up out of a dream. Like, I was just out cold and had this peaceful dream, or like walking down the path, and these people are like, no, you can't go with us. You have to go that way. Which kind of made it like a weird, eerie kind of, you know, how that you have that dream, like maybe you're dead, or maybe it's just a weird dream or something. I don't even know. But that kind of trips me out too. But it was super peaceful is what really tripped me out about it. But anyways, I come to, and I'm wearing a white shirt just like this. And the white shirt is just covered in blood, and there's blood on my pants. And I'm holding the bag like half full of blood. And I was like waking up. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And the paramedics like, it's a good thing I just, a good thing I was starting that fluids on you or whatever, because you went out on me. And I don't know, that was pretty gnarly. So I get wheeled into the hospital, and all the doctors and nurses are looking at me kind of weird, because I'm just like covered in blood. And I'm like, hey, I need another bag. I need to throw up. And once I was in the hospital, I threw up blood 2 or 3 more times, and like large amounts every time. And it was just like feeding me blood, and I'm throwing up, and they're giving me another IV of blood, and I'm throwing it up. Quick, for those that don't know too much about cirrhosis, one of the symptoms is portal hypertension. There's a main vein from your artery, from your esophagus to your liver. And long story short, sometimes, you know, if that vein is backed up, which happens a lot with cirrhosis of the liver, the blood will start going through these little tiny veins called varices. and it can't handle all that blood, so it ruptures or whatever, and you start bleeding internally, and that's basically what was happening. Which is you know, it's a life-threatening thing, but as long as you go to the hospital, you know, like right away, you're fine. You know, they'll give you a blood transfusion or whatever you need. The next day, they'll have doctors there, you know, specialists who will do an endoscopy, which is they shove a tube down your throat with a little camera and a little tool, and they put little rubber bands around those veins that are bleeding and stop them from bleeding or whatnot. So it's not that out of the ordinary for someone with cirrhosis to have something like this happen, but the amount of blood that I was losing was like a horrific amount of blood, and it was like not okay. And that's why it was like I was throwing up blood, and they're giving me more blood, and I'm throwing that blood up still. And that's like the scary, life-threatening part of it, was just like, am I going to be stable long enough to have an endoscopy done in the next day, you know? And luckily I did, and you know, they were able to stabilize everything, band, and then that's always a 5 or 6 day stay at the hospital, because you can't eat anything, and you gotta wait until the morning, and then they do that, and it's a couple days of recovery. You know, like the day afterwards, you can eat, like, if at best you can eat like soft foods, like maybe applesauce or ice cream or whatever, and then you kind of work up to like solid food. So it kind of takes a couple days, because your throat, your esophagus is super weak, and you could really damage things. And then by the time you get to solid foods, your stomach is so tiny that you can't even, you know, you can barely eat solid foods, and you're not hungry, and it's hospital food to begin with, so nobody likes that. So even if you were hungry, you don't want to eat that crap. So that was my second stay at the hospital. And then 2 or 3 days later, I throw up some more blood and call an ambulance. And luckily this time, I didn't like keep throwing up blood. Like, I threw up blood and went through the procedure where, you know, they put me in the room or whatever, and waited the next day for another endoscopy to band. I don't know if like they didn't band them properly, or there was more varices bleeding that they didn't catch, but they banded it up again, and I spent a good 5 or 6 days, maybe 7 that time. That last time, I spent, you know, just because they wanted to keep an eye on me, because I was really bad shape. Especially the time before, I was in like such serious shape that I honestly didn't know if I was going to make it or not. That is the second time that was so severe. It was the second time I went to the hospital that was like life-threatening and pretty scary. And you know, I had mentioned in an older video somewhere that, you know, I didn't really want a liver transplant, and right now I don't really qualify for one, because like my blood work and all that, I'm pretty stable for the most part. But when you're in there and you're not sure if you're going to make it or not, and you're throwing up blood, and you might be on your deathbed, you start reconsidering that idea of whether or not you want to get a liver transplant. So if you're ever in that position to where you have to like, do I want a liver transplant or not, you might change your mind the last minute, you know, so you might want to consider that. But yeah, it was super hardcore. That's what's been going on. That was in May and June, and then I'm just starting to kind of, I mean, I've been okay for a month or two since then. But it's the end of August now. But so it took me a little bit to recover from that. Like, and I don't think I'm fully back to where I was. I'm still in pretty rough shape, you know, but I'm doing a lot. So that was my month of being in the hospital, on and off there. I mean, I spent the vast majority of that month in the hospital. It was pretty rough. It wasn't fun. It's funny because the first 2 stays when I was in the hospitals, the nurses were always talking about how I was the best patient, and I didn't like bitch and complain, and I was easy to get along with, and I was just, you know, polite and funny and whatever. That third hospital stay, they were not, that didn't come up in conversation at all, because by that time I was so sick of being in the damn hospital. that darker side of me was coming out, and I was quite the prick. I couldn't wait to get out of the hospital. I was demanding it. I was about to walk out of there, rip my IV out, and storm out of there, whether they let me or not. I fucking couldn't take it anymore. I was losing my goddamn mind. It was rough, but luckily it's over. I'm feeling better. And what's weird is I was feeling good before, like a relative, you know, for me, for my condition, feeling pretty good, feeling decent. You know, I've been keeping up with the house and just relaxing and trying not to do too much. And I was doing okay, so I really don't know why out of nowhere I started having these bleeding issues, because I hadn't had bleeding issues for years. I don't think, at least 3 or 4 years I haven't had any kind of issue like that, probably a lot longer. So there's only 2 things I can think of, because I've been being good, I haven't been drinking, I've been, you know, just staying out of trouble and just doing my thing. And one, it could be when I went to the hospital the first time, and this is what I think it probably was, is when I went to the hospital for the first time, I had a blood clot, so, and all that infection, so there might have been, you know, I don't know what they gave me in the hospital for that, I don't remember, but if they did anything that might have thinned my blood, they might have figured it was worth the risk, because, you know, you got that blood clot and it's super dangerous, and maybe they gave me something that kind of thinned my blood, and I started bleeding and whatever, and then with a couple of days of being out of the hospital, it just kind of all built up, and that's why I threw up so much blood. It's because I had lost so much blood over, you know, over time. Or I don't remember if it was before I went to the hospital first time or right after I got out the first time, but I was having a terrible toothache that I just could not get rid of for the life of me. And because of COVID, the 7-Eleven isn't 24 hours over there, so I couldn't go get some Orajel. So I had taken like 400 milligrams ibuprofen. Not supposed to take ibuprofen. Don't take ibuprofen, but sometimes you kind of got to risk it if you're in that much pain, and I was in serious pain. 400 milligrams did nothing. I took another 400 milligrams. That did nothing. And then it just, after a while, it was just not helping. I just doubled up, and I took like an extra 800 milligrams. So I took 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen, which is, you know, a normal person probably shouldn't do that. But if you've got cirrhosis and you have bleeding issues, that's probably what caused it too. So it could have been one of those 2 things. I don't really see anything else causing it. So I think it was just a freak occurrence, and I'm, you know, okay. Again, just got to be careful and work on my diet, keep drinking water, take care of myself like I was, and I should be fine. So I'm assuming it's one of those 2 things. It's probably the ibuprofen, because that was actually really stupid, but I was in so much pain. It was totally worth it. Like, I don't know, toothaches are the worst. You know, toothaches are the worst, and all that crap I went through was not as bad as that toothache was in the moment. So if that's what it was, fine. It was worth it. The toothache is gone. I'm happy. So that's been my last year and a half. Mostly just dull on me taking it easy and not doing too much. And then that 1 month of hospital stays was quite chaotic and pretty crazy. Totally almost died, like I said in the title. But I'm okay. I'm back. I'm getting back to where I was. I'm fine. I know it's been a year and a half since I uploaded a video, and I do feel bad about it. I know you guys have always supported me, and I'm grateful for you guys coming and viewing and checking up on me. You know, it's really hard for me to keep up with this stuff. I mean, if you don't do YouTube videos, you don't realize how much really goes into it. And with my health, it's hard to just do the things that I have to do to begin with. You know, I'm overwhelmed as it is, so to add YouTube on top of it, sometimes it's just overwhelmed, and I can't even just look at it, you know. I feel bad. Like, a lot of times I try to respond to the messages, and I'm like, I know I haven't been uploading in a while, and I see a message, and I try to get to it, be like, hey, I'm doing okay. And sometimes I see the messages, and then I'm like, okay, I'll get back to that. I got to do this and that, and then I just forget about it. So, like, and sometimes I just never see the messages. I'll be scrolling through, like, oh shit, somebody left me a message 3 weeks ago, and I feel bad about that. You know, I'm not like ignoring anybody on purpose. It's just it's too much on my plate to handle without YouTube. You know, and one thing I've realized over these last few years is that I have to take it easy. Like, you know, you've seen my videos, I do too much, I get sick, I can't do anything for months, and then I'm finally starting to feel okay from just resting for months and months. And then, you know, I start doing too much, and because I want to go back to work. I don't want to just sit here and be sick and not do anything. I don't want to go on disability. I want to get healthy and go back to work. And because, you know, $700, $800, $900 a month is not going to cut it. I'm not okay with that. So I'm not okay with just, you know, sitting here for the rest of my life being sick and getting a few dollars a month on disability. That's not acceptable. I'm not, you know, I'm either gonna figure out a way to get healthy and get back to work and get things going the way I want it to, or I'm gonna die trying. But you know, you throw YouTube on top of that, and it just becomes too much. So I'm sorry I don't always keep up. I'll try. It'll probably be a few months before I upload another video, honestly. Maybe I'll try to upload some videos here in the near future, but it'll probably be a few months. And it's not that I don't appreciate y'all. It's just too much. I got enough to do. But if I just take it easy and, you know, clean up the house a little bit, spend an hour in the house every day. I got a little side work where I make some extra cash on the side, and that helps out a little bit. And between that, I'm just wrecked. I can't do any more than that. If I do that, I'm fine. If I do more than that, then I'm really gonna start getting sick. So I gotta take it easy, and I just gotta think about myself first, you know, think about my health. And sometimes YouTube just has to go to the wayside. Sometimes I just can't do it. But to the good news, I don't know if you guessed it or not. Hold on. There you go. Can you guess it? Do you see what's going on here? Alright, I'll get there. So a few months ago, actually the end of last year, so it's been a bit, I was working a little bit and I was bringing in some money, and I was just dumping all my money into cryptocurrency because we were hitting that time in the market where it was getting super hot and people were excited about Bitcoin and other coins and whatnot. And I was just putting all my money in Bitcoin, putting all my money in Cardano, and eventually all my money just started going in Cardano, and that's all I had. And long story short, I managed over like 6 or 7 months. I managed to, you know, put like $6,000 or $7,000 in there. I was doing really good. I wasn't buying crap that I didn't need. I was just putting money away, I wasn't doing anything. I was just, you know, a little work on the side, the work I do here at home, and just shoving all that money into crypto and shoving all that money into crypto. And it paid off. It could have paid off a lot more. I got scared because the market dipped really hard, and I sold for $13,700. So I basically doubled my money over those few months. If I had waited, if I hadn't gotten scared and sold, they would be worth like $30,000 right now. So it was stupid to sell, but I'm actually glad I did. It's okay, you know, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Sure, I'd have like twice as much money right now, but I can't sit here and regret that. I wish I did, but you know, too late. I did what I did. I sold it. I doubled my money. I had a nice chunk of money. Super excited. It worked out well. I want to get back to work again so I can start saving up more money and make some more wise investments and start having some money. It was nice having infinite money for a little while. A big part of the reason why I sold is, you know, after going through all that crap I had gone through, it really changes your perspective on things, you know. I mean, when you have like a life-threatening scenario, you know, you go through a life-threatening situation, and you know, you just kind of changes your priorities, changes how you look at things, you know, what's important in life and what's not. And that money just didn't mean as much to me anymore. and I saw an opportunity that I could, you know, do something that me and my friends have wanted to do for years and years. And so I took that money, I sold it, and out of that $13,000 plus, almost $14,000, I've spent about $9,000 to take me and 4 of my friends on the Flogging Molly Salty Dog Cruise. And if you've watched my videos for any length of time, you know how much I love Flogging Molly and how bad we all want to go on that cruise. So that's the good news, is I'm actually going on that cruise. In the past, I made a video about, kind of as a joke, like, please let me go on there, I don't have any money, just, you know, I'm sick. Please, can I go on the cruise, you know, and nothing ever happened of it, which I didn't expect to. It wasn't really a serious video, but I think it might have actually worked its way up to some level or whatever, which is cool. I'm happy about that. That's kind of cool. But yeah, it's just the money didn't mean as much to me anymore. And going on this cruise with my friends, that we've all dreamed of this, and it's just like something that we wanted to do so bad, but it was so impossible. Because, you know, it's like it's about $2,000 a person plus airfare, and it's just ridiculously expensive, and none of us can afford that. You know, I'm sick and can't work enough, and 2 of my friends are a couple, and they have 3 toddlers. They can't afford to do that, and well, maybe Travis could, but he's, you know, he's the only one, and that's if he was really serious about it. Like, you would have to be really serious about it just to put in the effort to do this, and it would never come to fruition. So I'm blessed to bless others and myself to go on this cruise. I'm super excited. I get to see Flogging Molly, I get to see the Descendants, I get to see Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. The Cherry Cokes are gonna be there. That's a fun band. Yeah, and you know, after going through all that, the money just didn't mean nothing to me. The most valuable things I've had are the people close to me. So that's what, you know, that's what I get to spend it on. And it didn't all go to the cruise. I just got back from Washington last night, Vancouver, where I got to visit with a bunch of family. Family that I hadn't seen in like 20, 30 years. It was my grandmother's 90th birthday, so, you know, because of that, I was able to go up there, you know, take a flight there and back, had a hotel for like, I said, for what, 3 or 4 days I was in Vancouver. That was really nice, and, you know, not seeing your family for so long, that was a real blessing too. I went to Frisco for the weekend a couple weeks ago. I bought an air conditioner. I'm sure I mentioned in a few past videos that our landlord just won't give us a damn air conditioner. We're in Sacramento and you need an air conditioner. So I just went and bought a portable one. It was like $600. You know, I mean, just a lot of good things came out of that, and I've been really lucky and really blessed for that. So I'm super happy. I get to go to the Bahamas and see Flogging Molly. Just a crazy punk rock cruise out in the middle of the ocean. It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait. I still gotta get my airplane ticket. I still gotta get my passport. So I better hurry up and do that so I can actually go on the cruise. You know, I need that passport. There was probably a bunch of other things that I wanted to mention because it's been a year and a half, but I don't remember, and this video is probably dragging on way too long. It's probably been going on for quite a while, so I'm just going to end it here. Thanks to all those that have hung out this long and put up with me never posting videos, and all those that are worried about how I'm doing. Sorry I don't always get to you. Sorry I don't always post videos. I do intend to, and it just never happens. And the longer you wait to make a video, the harder it is, because then it comes like this, or it's like a 4-hour video because I got so much to catch up on. Yeah, so it just gets put off and put off because it gets harder and harder, which just makes it even harder to do a video. So, thanks, and I'll see you in the next video, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a few months, hopefully not another year and a half. Sorry, I'm terrible at that, but, you know, I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.